As preseason NFL workouts begin to get underway, focus on positional competition is naturally heating up, with perhaps the most public and polarizing battle going to the 2014 season being the quarterback position of the Cleveland Browns. For fantasy football enthusiasts, while it's too early to be making any conclusions on who will open the season as the starter, that's not preventing folks from having an opinion on the topic. Now, looking at the consensus ADPs from fantasypros.com, Manziel is currently the 18th quarterback coming off the boards, while Hoyer is way down at 36, which clearly means that people think it's Manziel's job to lose, despite what the Cleveland depth chart says. Now, at this point, anyone trying to evaluate the fantasy potential of either of these two quarterbacks has to assume that neither signal caller will have the services of Josh Gordon to work with, as he was recently arrested for DWI and had already been facing a 1-year suspension for violations of the NFL substance abuse policy. So Browns quarterbacks are seemingly going to have wideouts Andrew Hawkins, Miles Austin, and Nate Burleson to throw to, and also tight end Jordan Cameron, who you would think would stand to benefit the most from Gordon's absence. Now, Hoyer clearly had a great rapport with Jordan in the games that he started last season, and one would have to think that a veteran tight end would also have to be a security blanket for a rookie in Manziel, as throws inside the hash marks are generally more conservative in nature. Now, Hoyer was not able to fully participate in OTAs and minicamp because of the torn ACL he sustained last October. And Browns play caller Kyle Shanahan said in June that in his mind the quarterback competition hasn't really started yet, but that a healthy Hoyer would allow the team to fully evaluate their two passers. Now, trying to look at things objectively, with the Browns taking Johnny Football with the 22nd pick in this year's draft, and the energy that it created within the Cleveland fan base, it's hard to believe that Manziel isn't going to see the field. And with LeBron James coming back to Cleveland, seemingly having some sort of co-marketing plan with Manziel, one would be led to believe that if nothing else, from a business standpoint, the odds are that Manziel is going to be the opening day starter September 7th in Pittsburgh. And one of the interesting things coming from people covering the Browns is that it's universally clear that at this point, Hoyer's release is markedly quicker than Manziel's, and he's far more adept at going through his reads. Now, that's probably not a surprise to many of you, as there's a learning curve expected for rookies, but if Hoyer is truly healthy, it wouldn't shock me if he was the starter opening day. And there are a few reasons for that. Not only may Hoyer actually be the best option for Cleveland to win games the first few weeks of the season, from a business standpoint, this may be the way to go as well. The Browns will get much more hype generated about Manziel from the public if he doesn't open the season as a starter. Now, if the Browns get off to a hot start with Hoyer, Manziel can benefit while he watches and then can step in should Cleveland start to struggle or an injury occur to Hoyer. And if Hoyer struggles to produce wins, well, the legend of Johnny Football can start before Manziel even takes the field, as Cleveland fans and fantasy owners alike will be clamoring for his on-field arrival. We've all seen it before. The second-string quarterback, particularly a highly touted one, can be the most popular player on the team, usually until he starts to play. Now, my opinion may change over the next 2 months, as we really need to see how this plays out. But if I had to choose right now, I'd say that Brian Hoyer will likely get the opening day nod. But Manziel will be the most productive over the course of the 2014 NFL fantasy season. Now, I'm also starting to gravitate towards the theory that our own Pat Mayo has thrown out there, whereby Manziel may be able to provide not only some quality fantasy stats, but some payouts to those of you who bet on NFL games. Not that any of us actually do that, as Manziel is likely to rack up both fantasy points and game points with teams playing prevent defense toward the end of games, as he leads the Browns to a number of backdoor covers in garbage time. For more in-depth fantasy football coverage, check out the Roto Experts Exclusive Edge fantasy football package, where just one low price covers you from your draft day all the way through your league championship. For Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm Mike Cardano.